A rare Don Wants 56 video on, I guess a Monday. That's when this will come out, because it's like 11. The reason I can get this out now is because I have my phone and I go to sleep now. Kind of embarrassing. 18, not allowed to have his phone in the room. But I can now. Well, actually, no, not in the room. I meant not in the room during bedtime. But still, I feel like this is a pretty important video to make, because the Chiefs, in my honest opinion, exposed us today. They really did. They did. They found our weakness. And I'm going to highlight the weakness here. It's kind of what the title of the video is going to be. And that weakness is, if we can't / do not run the ball enough, we lose. If we do not run the ball enough with Jonathan Taylor, we lose. If we cannot run the ball with Jonathan Taylor because, I don't know, let's say he's not doing good, we lose. That's actually happened during all 3 times. All of them. All 3 losses. The 3 losses we have. All because Jonathan Taylor did not get enough carries or was getting stopped. Let's be honest. And the Chiefs, they basically figured us out. And the reason why I say that, even though this has happened twice this season, is that they were hawked down on the run. Their entire defensive game planning was to stop the run. That's what they did. And they eventually won the game because we could not keep the ball. They absolutely milked the clock. That's another thing. They absolutely milked the clock. Going over the team stats, other than the fact that we got outgained on basically everything, is 33 first downs to 10. That is terrible. That is not good. I'll get the strike in later on the 4th downs, but they had 41 more plays than us. Well, let's get the refs too. They had 42 minutes TOP. They almost had 45 minutes of time possession. And the only reason why we are closer is because it went to OT. I mean, if we cannot run, we lose games. And this, like I said, is not just a Chiefs thing. If we look back, and we go back to the old games that we lost, let's say the Steelers game. We look at Jonathan Taylor. He only ran 14 times for 45 yards. Now, I believe he caught 2 for 12. But he ran 14 times for 45 yards. Daniel Jones had to throw 50 times through 3 picks that game. Guess what the time of possession is? I'm assuming we lost it. Okay. See, this is why you look at things before. I personally would think we lost time of possession, but I guess not. So that's kind of embarrassing for me. But if we go look back at the Rams game even, we look at Jonathan Taylor. He had 17 carries for 76 yards. And we forced Daniel Jones to throw a lot. He threw 2 interceptions. Taylor did catch 5 for 20 in that game, but still. Just look at the time as well. They won time for possession that game too. So, when we look, we see that when Taylor doesn't get carries, we don't win games. We can show basically every game. And I bet you it's going to work out. Even when Taylor got 18 carries, which we didn't really need him that game, we won. Basically, when Taylor gets over 100 yards total, like for the Broncos game, look at that. 25 carries, 165 yards. The Broncos were one of the best defenses in the whole league. We ran a lot anyways, and we got them. Look at the Titans, both Titans games even. I mean, this dude went 17 for 102 and 3 touchdowns. You look at the other Titans game, he had like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. If you look at the Raiders game, Anthony Richardson, Taylor, he had 3 touchdowns on 17 carries. While he didn't get the amount of yardage you would expect, he had 17 carries and 3 touchdowns. The Cardinals game, I know Taylor had a pretty good game that game. 21 carries, 123 yards, and a touchdown. The Chargers game, he had a pretty good game in Chargers game. 16 carries, 94 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So what I'm basically boiling down is, if we don't give him the ball, and we don't get enough carries with the ball, or he's getting stopped with the ball, 12 for 153 and 2 touchdowns, we don't win games. And that is our weakness. Our weakness is that we can't rely on the pass. We can't rely on the pass, obviously. Falcon game, 32 carries, 244 and 3 touchdowns. We can't rely on Daniel Jones and the pass. And that is going to be a big problem come playoffs time. Because when some team like the Chiefs, like the Texans, Bills, maybe, their defense isn't really that good. Patriots' defense is pretty good. When someone sells out the run like that and stops Jonathan Taylor, there's nothing we can really do. Because in that fourth quarter, by the way, Shane Steichen, not a good game. He could not coach in the second half. We were up 17 to 8, 20 to 8 even. Or was it 29? I don't know. It might have been 29. But still, he could not coach. In that fourth quarter, we handed the ball off once. And I understand that Jonathan Taylor is not producing like he usually does. But at the same time, you gotta give the man a chance. He's our MVP. He's our MVP, and you're not going to give him a chance. You're going to make Daniel Jones throw on first down. Oh, incomplete. Can't run it anymore because Daniel Jones isn't completing passes like he needs to be. And you just don't get Taylor involved, which you need to get him involved or else we'll lose. If we look at Daniel Jones' stats, he had to throw 31 times. He completed 19 passes for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he didn't have a terrible game, but he was missing shots. He was missing some balls. There was a ball to Downs in the red zone, which, I mean, if you throw that right and he catches the ball, you score a touchdown on that drive. You win the game. I know Pierce had a drop in the end zone. Again, if you throw that ball right, that's a touchdown. You win that game. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say you win guaranteed, but you likely win that game with a touchdown. Going up 3 scores with 10 minutes left. But instead, you have to kick a field goal. Oh, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's going to come back, especially with his backs against the wall. Chiefs, 5-5. If they lose this game, they're out. They're done. They're not coming back from that. And of course, the refs were suspicious. I can't speak. The refs were suspicious. They called a lot of bad calls, in my opinion, that went against us, that they would not call. The Chiefs did it. I mean, specifically, there was one where I believe Chris Jones just absolutely rocked Daniel Jones, and that was not called roughing the passer. When we had 3 total roughing the passers on us that day, or today, I believe, or it might have been 2. And there was also a face mask. We were undisciplined, but also the refs were not good. I'm not going to say they're the reason why we lost, but, Kansas City refs can't let them lose. It's just, overall, many, many factors to why we lost, but the biggest one, in my opinion, and in my opinion, the weakness that we have, which I keep saying over and over again, if Taylor does not perform, we do not perform. If you don't give him the ball, we do not perform. If he doesn't do well or get stopped because our O-line cannot stop a fly, we do not do well. And for most teams, with the quarterback, if the run's not doing good, that's not the end of the world. It's obviously not good, but it's not the end of the world. For us, when we cannot run the ball correctly with not Daniel Jones, when we cannot run the ball correctly with Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones doesn't play well, and we eventually end up losing games. And that is the problem that we have. Which, Daniel Jones, I like everything you've done this season. I'm the one who would never thought I would have said that. But I've liked what you've done this season. But you're just not the franchise guy unless you make another step. You've already made one huge step. I know you can make another step. But until you make that step, you cannot be the guy. You cannot be the guy for the future. We need to have someone else in. Which, Anthony Richardson's still learning. There's a possibility there. You don't have your 2 first-round picks this year or next year. 2028 QB comes out, maybe then. If Richardson doesn't pan out, you don't re-sign Jones. You might re-sign him anyways. I'd give him another proof deal, in my opinion, but it's just, if we start losing, this team is in limbo. That is the problem. So, I don't have much else to say about anything else. Just get quickly through the stats and talk about the division. Mentioned Daniel Jones, 19 for 31, 181 and 2. Fortunately, no interceptions. Taylor, again, not the best day rushing, 16 for 58. They were hounding. Completely hounding him the whole day. Jones had a pretty good run for 13. He was 3 for 16. Doolin caught 1 for 48 and a touchdown. No, not a touchdown. I was looking at the targets. Hey, they finally added targets. Wow, great job, Google. Great job, Google. I swear, I'm going to go look back at my last video. There were not targets there. They did not have targets there. Let me move on. Doolin caught 1 for 48. Warren caught 5 for 45. Pittman caught 5 for 27 and a touchdown. He had a pretty good game today. Pierce caught 1 for 26. Downs caught 2 for 10. Mo Cox caught 1 for 9. Ogletree caught 2 for 8 and a touchdown, so happy for him. Taylor caught 2 for 8. And Dula was targeted once but did not catch the ball. For the defense, Jermaine Pratt had the most tackles with 15. My goodness, he had a game. I did not know he dominated that much. He also had 5 assist tackles. Franklin, he had a forced fumble. They also had fumble recoveries too. Wow. Okay, Google. I respect it. Ward recovered the fumble. Latu with another pick. That happened in the Chiefs end zone. Well, Patrick Mahomes end zone, so yeah. Just threw it, tipped it up, caught it, got a touching off of it. When I saw that, I thought it was going to be a quick day. But, the Chiefs had other plans. Sacks, Latu also had a sack. Stewart and Ajike had half a sacks. Gallimore had a sack. And then Pay and Adebawore had half sacks. For kick returns, Abdullah had 440 for 106. Doolin had 1 for 40. That was a good return. Gold had 1 for 26. Punt returns, Gold had 3 for 49. Badgley was a perfect 2 for 2. On both field goals and extra points, as long as 32, and he had 8 total points. Enrico Berto had 6 punts, which probably is the most we had all year. 294 yards and inside the 20 5 times. I'm telling you, Rigoberto, top 3 punter in the league. I think he's one of the best punters in the league. For the Chiefs, Mahomes, he had an alright day. Not up to his standards. 29 for 46, 352 yards. But he had a pick. Kareem Hunt, rushing touchdown, 30 for 104. He had a really good day. Mahomes ran 4 for 30. Edwards-Helaire ran 5 for 8. Smith ran 1 for 5, and Kelsey 1 for 1. Rice had a really good game today. 8 for 141, targeted 12 times. Worthy caught for 4 for 59. Kelsey caught 4 for 43. Smith caught 3 for 31. Hunt caught 3 for 26. Gray caught 3 for 25. Brown caught 1 for 10. Edwards-Helaire caught 2 for 9. Smith-Schuster caught 1 for 8. And then Thornton was targeted once and did not catch a ball. And then Tanyan, he's just here because he's here. McDuffie, most tackles on the day with 5. Nothing really too spectacular for the Chiefs defense. They stopped us when they needed stops. That's all I have to say. Ramingo, 3 for 68 on a kick return. Thornton also had 2 for 47. Punt returns, Ramingo had 4 for 7. Not that good. Butker, perfect day. 5 for 5, long 48. Didn't even kick an extra point. But he had 15 points on the day. Carried the Chiefs today. When he came in, he was not having the greatest season. So, good to see him sort of fix his woes. And Ariza, 3 for 147. They also got injuries too. Wow. What do you mean, Sauce? I hope that's not true. Back to the yards. They blow us out. Like I said, 494 to 255, 346 to 181 on passing, 148 to 74 rushing. Although yards per play were pretty close, 5.4 to 5.1. They blew us out the door on first downs, 33 to 10. They did not blow us out the doors on third down efficiency, but they did win that too, 7 for 16 compared to 5 for 13 for us. They also went for fourth downs twice, got both. Shane Steichen, again, another gripe I had, which I forgot to mention, he was playing too conservative. Should have mentioned this earlier, but I honestly think the point where we lost the game was at like the 4-minute mark where it was like 4th and 2 on our... It might have been on our side of the ball. It might have been on their side of the ball. It might have been on the Colts 45. And the dude takes a delay of game instead of going for it. It's the Chiefs. What do you expect? Do you expect Mahomes to not win the game? Or tie the game? Just... I don't know. Just not a good day overall for Shane. 91 plays to 50. That's insane. And they allowed 4 sacks. We punted 6 times. They punted 3. We had 11 penalties for 83 yards. They had 7 for 57. They lost a fumble. They threw an interception. Didn't even matter. Tackles. This is new. We had 50 tackles. They had 29. We had 2 field goals. They had 5. We had 2 red zone sort of scores out of 4. Or is that field goals? I don't know. They had 1 for 6. I guess it's not field goals. It's for touchdowns. So, red zone touchdowns. We had 2. They had 1. But let's look at the division because things are not looking good. First off, number 1 seed, kiss it goodbye. We're not touching the Patriots. Which is something I did not expect to say this year. At all. But we're not touching the Patriots. Broncos, we might be able to touch the Broncos. I don't know. But things are looking scary. Because we play the Texans next week. They win that game, which I'm not saying they will. But if they win that game, they're 1 game back. If the Jaguars win their game, I believe against like a poverty team like the Saints, the Titans, even worse. They win their game, they're tied with us. And who do we play? Well, I mean, I kind of already mentioned it. We play the Texans. We play the Texans. And if we lose that game, they're 1 game back. Jaguars win their game, they're tied. And then, guess who we have to play? We have to play the Jacksonville Jaguars at Everbank Stadium. Next week is a must-win. Because if we lose that Texans game, we're not beating the Jaguars in Everbank. We're not beating the Jaguars in Everbank. We haven't won there in 10 plus years. 10 plus years. It might be like 11, 12. I don't even know. We have not won there in forever. So we need a win. If we lose next week to the Texans, we're cooked. We're deep fried. We're screwed. Whatever you want to call it. We're done for. So we cannot lose that game to the Texans. And then after we play the Seahawks, then we play the Niners. And then we play the Jaguars and the Texans again. So things are looking scary for the division. Honestly, if we lost out, which I don't see happening, I wouldn't be too surprised. I think we at least win 2 more games and make the playoffs. But if we lose next week against the Texans, alarm bells are going off. Alarm bells are going off. You cannot lose next week to the Texans, or else it's not looking good. But anyways, that'll be all. I'll finally go to sleep now, I guess. See you guys later, and peace.